Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Osmerion in Ruins. Today, we are joined by quite a few selected gamers, as you will. First and foremost, we have the Santa, the Satsune. For
That
those
would be me.
for those that are interested, are we gonna have Darkest Dungeon narration? Maybe. I will be the resident dungeon master for this evening, but if you want to go check out Santa's Twitch, it will be right there. We also have Black Fox here with us, who will be our resident Dullahan for the evening. We also have Asta, the Asta la Pasta. Hey, have a good lurk, Lily. But we also have Asta the Pasta, Asta la Pasta, who will be our resident human barbarian for the evening.
Hey yo.
And finally, we have Looney, who will be our resident artificer of the night.
Meow meow.
Osmerion has been going through quite a bit of turmoil, and our story will start in the city of Acolis, thriving port town on the edge of what's known as the Overgrowth. This port town has had many people of many kinds throughout its time, from the mystical lands of the Isle Lamentia, the beasts of the Skies of Aston. There have been rumors for weeks now that the corruption has been spreading to other continents, but unfortunately, the teleportation magic has, quite frankly, been on the fritz. No one has been able to go through a teleportation circle and survive. But rumor has been getting by via word of mouth, and something feels off about tonight. As when the night comes, we'll hear wolven howls that sound wrong in the distance. And our story will begin with the gamer Santa Satsune, who is currently in the castle itself. Santa, what would your daily activities as prince be in the castle of this port town?
I would say that my day to day would mostly consist of just kind of following father around, trying to see and learn about what would take to take the throne. Uh, Obviously, dining on the finest of foods and going over my paladin tenets to make sure that I can follow my oath.
Okay. With it, today seems to just be going on like any normal day. Your father has taken a back seat when it comes to war. Um, you remember when you were younger, your father was fairly often leading the battlefield, acting as the resident general for the fighting. But ever since you came along, he's kind of taken more of a backseat and more of a diplomatic role as king. Although he will not take this rumor of the corruption spreading outside of its means lightly, as he has sent a few scouts for the past 2 weeks now. And today is like any other until Castlegate's breach open, as you see two scouts barely injured, as if they've been running through bramble, seemingly running around the courtyard. Your father, upon noticing this, will call for some doctors to treat the poor scouts, as well as we'll go meet with them in the infirmary to see about any information that they might have. Would you like to go with him?
Sure.
Okay. You follow your father as you basically are following right behind the scouts. One seemingly is bleeding out rapidly, although the clerics are trying to heal them as best they can. But the other seems to be a bit more lucid, and after about 5 minutes, you all get to the infirmary. Your dad lets the doctors get the individual set up for a set amount of time, and then it's just you, your father, and the scout that is lying a bit better than his compatriot. At least this one's conscious, but still lying on the bed all the same, unable to really utilize his legs. As lets you all know that about 5 miles away from this port town in the overgrowth itself, there was a nest of. They didn't quite understand what it was. They were simply tracking a beast, seeing, basically making preparations for the evening for a camp. But something seemed off about these tracks. So, three of the scouts decided to go explore. They never came back, and two of the scouts, the remaining two that were at camp, decided to go look for their friends, but the only thing they saw was something eating into them. It was a beast of some sort, that much is certain, but it was wrong. Its limbs were long, its neck was too long, and it let out a blood curdling screech. It wasn't eating as predators normally do, it was eating for the joy of killing something. Your father, upon hearing that this, whatever this thing is 5 miles out of town, immediately goes pale. As he looks to you, you get the name really quick. As he looks to you, Kron, as he simply utters, gather the adventurers in the taverns. I will gather soldiers. Whatever that thing is, it might attack tonight, and we cannot afford that thing running loose in the city. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
As he will then go and basically get as many soldiers together as he can for the night. But you are now tasked with going around taverns, inns, and stuff, getting as many people who can wield a weapon as you can to go help for them. You know that there are a few different taverns in this little place. Let me get my notes really quick for you. The three most prevalent taverns that you know, however, that are quite frequently uh, frequented by adventurers are the Simple Lantern Pub, the Dead Crab's Pub, and the Earthy Cookie. All three of those are fairly known for having a good chunk of adventurers come here and there. Which one would you like to go to first?
We're going to go for the cookie.
The Cookie. Alright, so give me just a sec. We got the Earthly Cookie as our first stop. So it's about 5 minutes going to the Earthly Cookie itself. A fairly calm, but still a bit tense walk, all things considered, with everything going on outside. In the Earthly Cookie, you see quite a decent bit of people here and there, but you also notice what looks to be a tabaxi, which are very uncommon in this area, seemingly tinkering with a few devices at a table. They very much are a bit sound outish. Most of the adventurers here are drunk, even though it's about 5 p.m. But this cat seems focused.
Focus like on an object or
Um, I don't know. Cipher, what are you working on right now?
So right now I'm working on my newest project. It's in bits and bobs. Half of it is disassembled, the other half messily stringing together, trying to figure out how it works, why it's not doing what I need it to do. Mostly I'm ignoring other patrons, simply looking at my work, taking it in, so much so that my drink, which was once chill and nice and cold, is now room temperature, laying forgotten next to me.
Okay. Looney, as you are working on this device, you notice that the prince himself has walked into this tavern. Something he rarely does. Most of the time, he's in the castle shadowing the king himself. But for some reason, the prince has come into this tavern tonight.
I sort of like take a glance and look them up and down with my eyes. Try not to make too much attention or bring too much attention,
Okay.
and half mumble to myself.
Oh, well. That's not something you see every day.
So, Santa, seeing all these patrons and stuff, what would you like to do?
um I guess I since I came here looking for adventurers, I would make a loud proclamation that by order of the king we are needing every available body to make their way uh, towards the gate of the town to prepare to hold for the city.
A lot of the drunken adventurers simply look at you, look at their drinks, and quite a few let out a good hearted chuckle as they just go back to drinking. There are a few that kind of look at you, and you see that they go just as pale as the king did, as there have been rumors about the corruption getting closer and closer for weeks now. And you can tell some of the patrons are worried that it might be the corruption itself. With it though, Cypher, you hear this. What would you like to do?
I'm going to continue to tinker with my gadget and scoff.
Ah, what's this backwater town ever done for me?
Overhearing this, I point and declare, I guess, boldly and sternly say, it's not even so much about the town as it is your very life that would be on the line. It would be better to unify and take this on as a front rather than just being picked off one by one should this enter the town.
Picked off one by one, he said. Ah, once this town is destroyed, we move on to the next, the next, and the next, until eventually someone will find a way to stop it. Why should that concern me?
You keep thinking that there's actually a way out of this town should this approach.
Uh, with a creative mind and a little gumption, I'm sure there's a way out of any situation.
I shrug and say, suit yourself. You can die sitting here, or you can fight trying. It's not my problem anymore. I did my job.
So upon leaving the tavern, Cypher, what are you gonna do with this information now that you know that something is coming to town?
I pick my drink up, chug it in one, uh, very barely chugging it in one gulp, and start to put my things away, sling it over my back, um, roughly slam money down onto the table with my mechanical arm, making an audible crash as I swing open the door,
Okay.
and I head towards the docks.
Okay. So with it, Santa, seems the first tavern really didn't do much for. So which of the other two would you like to?
I don't remember the names off the top of my head.
They are the Dead Crab Pub and the Simple Lantern Pub.
Let's go to the crab.
All right, so you head to the Crab. It's a little bit closer to the docks. With it, immediately upon getting closer to the Dead Crab Pub, you see an individual get launched out of the window. Upon looking inside, you see what looks like a human man who just kind of standing there doing the iconic like hand, making sure there's no dust on their hands, like the hand clap thing. Before heading back into the tavern.
I guess obviously I'm heading over to this tavern anyway, so I follow in at a distance,
Okay.
just in case there's a commotion going on.
Okay. So Asta, upon throwing this unruly individual who was frankly way too drunk out of the window as kind of a favor to the barkeep, as they've been pretty good to you so far. You notice that the prince was on the other side of the window and has just seen your action. And it seems the prince is coming into the tavern itself.
I go and take a seat back at the bar.
Okay. So you finally
And
enter.
I
Go ahead.
and I wave over the bartender to refill my cup of juice.
Okay. We'll come over, refill, as Prince has now walked in. A lot of the tavern ambiance kind of goes a bit quiet as everyone kind of stops what they're doing and look at you.
I make the same declaration as I did back with the cookie about, by order of the king, there is a call to arms to report towards the gate and/or docks to prepare to hold the line for the town, and that every able body is needed to be there.
Okay. So you hear this. You do notice that some of the tavern keeps, the individual sailors and stuff from the that were in the tavern are kind of being like, okay. You notice that there is a certain captain type individual who says, "All right, men, you heard the prince? We'll go meet the king and see what he wants us to do." As he leads his entire crew out of the tavern towards the gate. Also, you have just heard this declaration.
Yes. I'm gonna turn to the patron next to me that I've been chatting with for most of the evening, and to the bartender. I'm like, man, recent events have really given the warmongers something to do.
Not the bartender looks at you and says, "Have you not heard the rumors?"
I've heard the rumors.
Doesn't sound like they're planning on waging war. It sounds like they're planning on mounting a defense more than anything.
Warmongering is still warmongering. At least this time it's useful.
Don't know about that. The king has been fairly peaceful recently, bringing about economic boon and such. It's strange to see him call up arms after decades.
What do I really know? I'm not from around here.
Can it be a huge favor to help them out? God knows what could get the king scared. As the patron that was kind of sitting next to you passes out from becoming a bit too. And Santa, you see a bit of murmuring and stuff kind of happening uh, over at the barkeep area.
Um, I I approach the barkeep and I inform him that all of the tabs for the people who have gone to assist are going to be covered by the you know by the king and their coffers, and to not worry about those that had to walk out, and that I apologize for the intrusion.
Oh, you are perfectly fine, Prince Kron. It's understandable. Do you know what has the king riled up?
Well, it's not like people aren't already assuming so of what it is, but we do believe it is the corruption. We saw quite the creature absolutely devouring a few people on the outside, and it looks like it could be more hiding in the trees, and it could be slowly encroaching in on the town.
Oh goodness. Oh goodness, I hope we have enough.
Well, that's what I'm going around trying to round up for. I've got one more tavern I need to go to. So far, it hasn't exactly been the most fruitful of endeavors, but I mean, one way or another, they're going to have to fight. It's just whether they're actually going to be grouped up and organized, or in chaos and losing the town.
Oh, are you going to the Simple Lantern next?
That's the last one.
Make sure to talk to the owners. I know that they used to be adventurers, retired now, but they might still be able to help.
Thank you for the tip. Yeah, I'll be sure to look into that.
Rome, is there anything else I can do for you, Prince?
No, that actually roundabout sums it up. I appreciate you, and I guess I'll be on my way.
Understandable. Best of luck. May Pelor be with you.
And I guess with that, I'll kind of nod and then start heading on out.
Okay. And Asta. With it, you've kind of heard all of this. You are noticing that the barkeep is kind of getting ready to close for the night, as well as mainly lock himself inside for the night. As he
Do I
goes,
have a room at this tavern?
you do not. Um,
Okay.
he's kind of been letting you sleep in the tavern itself. So if you wish to sleep in the tavern, you may. But he's kind of getting ready for the worst case scenario.
I close up my tab for the night.
Are you staying in the bar, or would you like to go somewhere?
I don't want to be locked out, so I'm probably gonna stay in the bar.
Okay. Then finally, we make our way all the way to the Simple Lantern Pub. With it, you notice that there is a fairly jazzy tune, kind of like a lounge type of piano playing. As when you enter, you are immediately hit with a puff of smoke, Santa. as this place is extremely, extremely wealthy. You can just tell by the smell, but also pick up that this might not be above the counter wealth, as it were. As you're seeing many, many gambling tables, you see what looks like an individual who seems to be gambling his own head at the table. And after a few, seems the headless individual won the gamble and, well, all the earnings. As they've gotten the equivalent of 5 platinum off of this gambling. As Black Fox, you have just won almost the lottery. It was a very, very hit or miss gamble. You were doing a double or nothing, with the nothing being your own head. But thankfully, it paid off. However, as soon as you start gathering your rewards, you notice that the prince has entered, as the entire bar has gone silent.
I guess as the silence happens, I make the same declaration about the king's need for people, a call to arms, as it would, and that the kingdom is looking for any able body to help defend the town, uh, and that if there were to be any such brave souls, that they should be able to find themselves either towards the gate or the docks.
Okay. A good chunk of people kind of look at you. The barkeep kind of stops cleaning a glass, as well as kind of is just looking at you. But you are definitely feeling the daggers piercing you, as it were. Not actual daggers, but the dagger of eyes. Black Fox, you have just heard this. And you do know that the individuals at the table that you are currently at, not the happiest goers, being as you basically con them out of 5 platinum.
I will stand up, jovially, pretending I am drunk, and just as I'm walking towards the exit of the tavern, just kind of look at the prince and be like, you know you ain't gonna get no help in this place. Not unless you got something to offer.
Uh, I point at him, I guess dramatically, to lay down my authority, to state the very thing that could be the most valuable, your very lives, are at stake. The town of which you gamble in, the money that you hoard, and the very life that you seem to just kind of toss around for your own gambling needs. As I eye down at his head being on the table for a bartering chip, you will lose it all if you decide not to assist with this. This is a all or nothing. All chips are in, and if you decide to back out now, the game is over.
You know, I like you. Tell you what. You play a game with me, and I'll join you. I don't know about the rest of these people, but I wouldn't mind a little bit of tussle.
The patrons are kind of eyeing you both as kind of a mainly because this is quite interesting. Does the prince participate in gambling? They want to know.
Every day is a gamble, especially when you're in the leading uh, head of a kingdom. So why not? I must not have much time for games, but if it means to be of any assistance to this land, Name your game.
We'll
What?
make it simple. We'll make it real simple. We each roll a dice. Whoever gets the higher one wins. You win, I help. I win, you fuck off.
Kind of dice would you all like to roll?
I was about to say I want to do a investigation check or a like a perception check. I want to see if I can see if these are like loaded dice or
Give
uh
me give me an investigation.
all right, so what's the best way of doing that on
So if you just click the skill itself, it will automatically roll in the chat bar.
unfortunate?
Fortunately, they definitely are dice. You can't tell if they're loaded or not, however, as you never really been one to mess with dice.
All right, well then I guess I'll still take my chances.
Okay.
What
What dice are you giving, by the way, Black Fox? Like what type of dice are we?
2d6s.
Sixes.
I'm so fucked. Actually cucked. What the fuck?
So with it, the prince rolls his dice and rolls a 5. Not the best, and the patrons are still eyeing it. As Black Fox, you then give it a good roll and you get one above.
Well,
As
you see, Mr. Prince, I am the victor. Time for you to fuck off.
Rightfully so. Enjoy your death. And then I just turn and walk out.
as you do, Black Fox, you notice that the barkeep's eyes kind of follow with the prince. He lets out a little sigh as he goes, "Oh, I'm gonna go protect a business." Gerald, as he kind of points to a very, very burly orc. "You man the place while I'm gone, okay? Sure to close up early." As you see him grab what looks like a pair of daggers, as he walks out, as he goes, "Whoever comes with me gets free drinks all night long tomorrow." As he walks off. What would you like to do, Black Fox?
Well, having been victorious, I will look at the onlookers, whoever doesn't decide on the offer of free drinks, and be just boldly proclaim and be like, "Well, now you drugs, you see, we can even make the prince gamble if he comes into our territory. Enjoy yours fucking night. I'm out of here." And then I'm gonna leave. And as I do, I'm going to try to keep an eye on the direction the prince is heading.
Okay. Are you heading back to the gate, by the way, Santa?
Yeah, my recruitment efforts are done. Seemed pretty fruitless, but nevertheless, my duty is to defend, and so I push onward to where I'm needed.
Okay. With it, as you're walking there, you notice that the captain and sailors from earlier are walking back towards the docks. As you see, the captain's a little bit disappointed, as he kind of gives you a firm nod. As you notice that there are a few people from the tavern that are walking with the barkeep himself towards the gates. As you guys arrive, you notice that the king is in full armor at this point. As he looks to you, Santa, as he goes, "Ah, Khan, or Kron, did you... I see you found at least the sailors and the bit of underworldly individuals. Did you find anyone else?"
Unfortunately, many people would much rather drown themselves in drink and die inside their own loins and spoils than to actually assist with their own home. Many still believe that there's going to be a way out if they just decide to let this place piss away, they'll be most unfortunately met with a terrifying fate, one that
As
I hope we all avoid.
as you notice, there are some like just regular civilians mixing with the soldiers. As upon hearing you say this, a bit of them look a bit more uneasy. As your father looks at you and goes, "Need to have mind of your words. As high up, even if you aren't king." But with it, I do have an assignment
I
for you and a few others that you can grab. With it,
I
go ahead.
I look onto the concerned civilians and I tell them, fret not, for as I being your shield, the only one that you'll ever see fall would be me. Most of you will live to see another day. It would be the ones inside the town that would be perishing away.
Give me a persuasion roll. A few of them are a bit calmed, but for the most part, they're still a bit as the king simply pulls you to the side and says, "There's a few people in town that I'm gathering for a squad. While we stay here and defend, I'm going to need you and the group to act as scouts. I need you to go find where this beast is apparently making nest and destroy it. Hopefully, getting rid of its nest will help us hunt it a bit easier. If worse comes to worse, you are to run from this thing. Do you understand, son?
Absolutely, Father.
But if you can destroy its nest, then that might help us a few days." As Black Fox, you went with the barkeep, correct?
No,
You did
I
not.
left
Okay.
the tavern and
Where are you going?
watched where he was going.
He is
I
going to the
probably
main
stayed.
gate.
Yeah, I probably went to the main gate. I probably followed the prince, but in a not so obvious way, just kind of sticking to the back alleys,
Okay.
actually just kind of seeing what's going on.
So with it, you see that there is basically a militia that is being gathered right now. Uh, mix of the actual army soldiers, but also the militia at the gate. You're kind of about right here. If you want to go any further, you will be seen as there's a very big open area.
I'll probably stay in an alleyway, kind of lean up against the building and just watch.
Okay. You see the kings mention something to the prince, but you can't quite make it out. As you notice that the barkeep from earlier with his two daggers walks up to the king. The king says something to him as the barkeep then seemingly walks back into town. As we are now at Looney. So, Cypher, you have made it to the docks. With it, it's strangely quiet. There's only one ship that's currently in port, and it seems to be more so a cargo ship than anything. But it's completely abandoned. This huge galleon of a ship, just no sailors whatsoever on it.
Okay. I guess I'm going to. So there's nobody around.
No one at the moment around the docks. There's just the giant galleon.
Okay. Can I inspect the ship to see if I can figure out when or if it's going to leave port anytime soon?
Yes, give me an investigation roll. And then, if you want, by the way, in your character sheet, you can just click the skill, and it auto rolls for you.
Oh, well, that's fancy.
Yeah,
Okay.
but an 8 does not pass.
Oh, well.
With it, you can't really find much. You just find the normal stuff you would find on a ship, like the mops, as well as just general cargo, although it all is pretty well sealed shut. Although, as you are investigating, you do hear a commotion coming from the dock itself. And as you look,
I'm gonna.
go ahead.
Okay. No, no, go ahead.
As you look, you see that it seems the crew of this galleon are coming back to the ship.
I'm going to try to hide away.
Right, give me a stealth roll. Right. You manage to kind of sneak behind some crates uh, on the second deck, a little bit below the main deck. As you kind of hear them preparing to get the ship ready. As you hear the captain go, "All right, men, you heard the king. With it, if that thing breaches the walls, and if the king sends up the signal, we wait 2 minutes for evacuees, and then we leave. Is that understood, everyone?" As you hear everyone give a resounding "Aye, aye, Captain." As you kind of are hearing them preparing the ship itself, but they aren't really leaving unless the king gives a signal, apparently. You do notice that the captain kind of goes back to his captain quarters, seemingly to write a log about what's happening. But for the most part, the first mates and all that are currently, the first mates and deckhands are just kind of making sure the ship is operable in case they need to.
I kind of rest myself against one of the crates and just kind of mumble to myself.
Well, I mean, guess I've intentionally found the right place. Worst case scenario, I'll just have to take a lifeboat if need be. Time to wait and see how this plays out.
As you're kind of sitting there, you feel a tap on your shoulder. As when you look, you
I
see an individual who is fairly pale even for a drow that he is, with 2 daggers. As his daggers are holstered, but he simply looks at you and goes, "What are you doing here?"
Just trying to find a quiet place away from all the noise. What are you doing here? You don't look like a ship hand.
"Looking for recruits."
We've come to the wrong place then.
"What's your price?"
You know, I've never had anyone ask. What you got?
"How about 3 platinum?"
Great platinum. Tempting. Want something more.
"Is it not currency? Or
I'm looking for things of interest. Little money is fine, but you can always make more money.
make you this
Now, if you have something,
promise. You help the king this time. We'll put you in good standing with the king, yes? And in doing so, I will help you breach his armory,
hmm,
which has war
now
spoils
that
from
you're
over
talking my
centuries.
language.
Do we have a deal then? As
Normally, I hate to get involved in things that don't concern me, but that armory has been calling my name since I got here.
he holds out his hand
I'll see
for a
what I can do.
handshake.
I grip his hand with my mechanical arm and give him a nice, firm, almost not forceful, but very stern handshake. And trust me, if you double cross me, I will make sure you don't do it again.
Don't worry, can't go back on a devil's pact. As when you blink, you are now at the front gate, right next to Kron. As Kron, all of a sudden, there is the cat from earlier, right next to you. As the king goes, oh, thank goodness. Sound. As Asta. With it, the barkeep is kind of locking up and all that stuff. Are you helping him at all?
Yeah, I'm stacking up chairs on top of the tables for him.
Okay. As you are doing so, you see the barkeep kind of look over in your general direction as his face goes pale. As gives a quick bow before running uh, behind the counter and into the kitchen. As you feel a tap
I
on your
immediately
shoulder,
swirl around.
as you see a very, very pale drow with two daggers holstered as he goes, you care to help?
It's not polite to sneak up on people, you know.
I know that very much. Would you like to help?
It depends what you mean by helping.
Help make sure the city does not succumb to the corruption. Surely you've heard the room.
Heard them. I've seen it.
Then you know the threat it poses. One of the corrupted creatures is currently outside of the wall. Most likely more than one, given the fact that it killed 3 scouts. We need to destroy the nest so they stop spreading. Would you like to help?
I may help. For the people.
As he reaches out a hand.
And only the people. And then I grab his hand and shake it.
As you are now right next to Kron. As Kron, the human from earlier, is now right next to you as well. As you three are all together, as Black Fox, you see these people seemingly teleporting in. Give me a history roll. You believe you know who this is, but as he's on the tip of your tongue, you feel a tap on your shoulder.
Oh shit.
How's free drinks for life sound?
Not interested.
Your price.
I ain't making no deals, buddy. I've already got enough on my plate.
Well, maybe this might suffice. As with it, he tries to put his hand onto your head. Do you do anything about it?
I immediately just start to walk away. And not like away from everything. I just start walking towards the prince. Like I'm just like, nah, I'm not dealing with this shit.
Okay. As kind of slinks back into the shadows, as Ron, you see the Dullahan from earlier kind of walking towards you, a little bit peeved more than anything. King goes, "Believe that is all of them. Ugh. Do any of you have any questions for me? Not, I'll brief you on your mission.
I have
All
a
good. Yes.
question.
Ask away.
Why are you in cahoots with a drow?
I'm not.
Convenient.
He's not a drow.
But what are you hiding?
Not me that's hiding something, it's him.
Sounds like you're looking for someone that doesn't work with him.
We have mutual reasons for wanting to protect this place. His is a little bit more archaic in nature. Mine is a little bit more modern.
Hmm. Never trust the king. Still don't plan on changing that.
I hope you don't ever change that. Been many kings in the past who have done wrong many, many a times. I hope you treat me with the same prejudice. But,
Look, I look over at
yes,
What's his name? Crocs?
Ron?
Kron. I look over at Kron, kind of eyeing him up and down, kind of more so with like a distaste.
Catching sight of it, uh, I make a side jab of, well, if it isn't the band of people who were too good for this town.
big words coming from someone who doesn't work for anything.
Big words for somebody who doesn't know what they're on about.
You royals are all the same. Every single town I go to, it's always the same.
Can you,
Higher ups.
can you all stop bickering? And Ron, better than that. We have more pressing issues. With it, about 5 miles north of here, there is possibly a nest of corruption. Your job is to scout it, confirm its location, destroy it if possible. If not, just report its location back. The last thing I want is for more death. Is that understood, everyone?
Indeed.
Yes.
Aye, aye, your royalty.
With it, we'll be given a pack of provisions to last you a whole week. You will set out in the morning. For now, go get some rest in the palace. There are rooms that are assigned just for each of you. You'll set out in the morning. That way, daylight is at its peak. You all are dismissed. As he kind of goes to making sure that the soldiers are positioned around the walls and stuff proper, make sure that this city is defended for the night. As it is about 7 p.m. now,
If we are to serve together, we ought to know each other's name.
By all means, start us off.
You may call me Kogami.
And you, Cat?
I flipped my tail and
Kind of give a side eye to the whole group.
remind me again, what's the point? I mean, we're only gonna be working with each other for this one time. Maybe if we even make it out of here. There's no point in getting chummy. But if you must know, I'm Cypher. Do with that what you will.
A lot of tooth pulling for a simple name. How about you, Dolhan?
Name's Trey.
And as I'm probably of need of no introduction, my name is Kron. Hopefully, everything goes smoothly and we'll all be able to continue about our lives.
A pleasure to meet you all, I'm sure.
Well, let's head on up to the palace then. My father spares nothing when it comes to appeasing his guests.
You guys are making your way to the castle. You notice that there are little to no guards here for the evening. Almost all of them have been sent out to guard the castle walls. As you notice that there are a good amount of housekeepers and stuff, maids, all the likes, that welcome you and escort you all to each of your private rooms. Looney, Black Fox, and Asta, you have never seen a bedroom this luxurious. It is almost picturesque of what you would assume to be in a fairy tale. The beds are lavish. There is even a mirror in the room, as well as looks to be a bathroom for each individual. Quite fancy for it all things considered. You guys like to do anything before the night comes to an end?
Is there any kind of work table or side table in the room?
There's not a work table, but the mirror is like one of those dresser mirrors where it has like a little table so that way you can do your makeup or do whatever you want in front of the mirror.
I sling my bag onto the table and spread out my tools and tinkerings and begin to tinker.
Okay.
Uh, at the sight of this, I call for one of the servants to prepare an actual table so that for him to use, so that way it doesn't scuff the guest dresser.
Yes,
If
my
he's going to be in the need of tinkering, make sure he has a proper one to be using, as well, of course, as a decent chair.
yes, my liege. Mr. Cypher, sir, would you perhaps be interested in the workshop?
oh, you have a workshop now.
Yes, we do.
Yes, I like that very much.
Very well, we'll make sure a sleeping cot and such is set up in the workshop if you would follow me. As the nice lady takes you to a fairly big workshop, you notice that it's a lot of tinkering devices. Um, you also notice that there's a good chunk of wood carving that's done in here.
Tools aplenty. I might be able to get some actual work done for once.
What else would everyone else like? Right.
Currently, I'm following now the other two to make sure that their accommodations are met before retiring myself.
Okay. Uh, Black Fox, we come across your room first. It's almost identical to Looney's.
Does it have a balcony or
It does indeed have a
front
balcony.
side? Okay. Okay. I will walk in, just observe the room. I will rip my head off I will set it out on the balcony to observe the outside, and then my body will go and sit on the bed.
Asta and Santa, you see this. You guys move to the next room?
Seemingly he's comfortable and fine. I do call over one of my servants to inform them to make sure that he has ample drink and to bring out some of our collector dice and cards to make sure he can keep himself occupied for the night.
Yes, my liege. As they kind of go, they bring back a few cards and stuff, and they bring back an alchemical jug, so that way you can stay hydrated for the rest of the.
Yes, very nice.
And with that, I guess we now go off to the final room.
Okay. And with it, also, this room is identical to the previous. Balcony, bed, mirror dresser, all the likes. Although, give me a stealth roll, Asta.
A stealth roll.
And Santa, give me a perception roll.
My eyes don't work.
You don't notice it, but Asta, I will DM you what just happened.
Okay.
As you retire for the night,
I grab my axe off my back and I take a seat and I carefully clean the blade. The ancient steel blade.
okay. As
And I refasten the fabric that's tied beneath the blade.
okay. As Santa, it seems like everyone has been situated.
I also make sure to thank Santa for bringing me to my bedroom.
It's not a problem at all. Any guest of the royal family is always made sure to be kept up with the most prestige. I would very much perish the thought of anyone not being met with the things that they both want and need in this town, let alone the castle. Uh, I assume then that you're uh, content with your accommodations for the night.
Yes. Thank you.
Very well. I shall now then go retire myself.
My
Uh,
character very much does not look like they know what to do with such lavish accommodations.
Very, very out of place. I have a feeling, except for maybe Black Fox, is the norm with Cypher and you. Cypher mainly being in a workshop and you know. But with it, you retire for the night, Santa. As dawn begins to break, as you all hear the sound of carriage being drawn outside.
Is it morning or is it still night?
It is morning now.
Okay.
Was there any activity in the night that I would have seen?
The most that you saw throughout the night is basically guards walking around the walls, patrolling, as well as the king himself standing right up here, right by the gate. As it is now a new dawn. How is everyone waking up? Let's start with Santa. Santa, how is your day starting after hearing all the stuff that has happened?
So far, I find myself to be, I guess, incontent with the lack of uh, enthusiasm for the protection of the town. However, I do make sure that I, do my prayers, recite my tenets before heading out. So that way, I make sure I keep in line that despite my uh, temper, that ultimately the protection of my comrades and citizens is foremost what my priority is.
Okay. And with it, then move on to Black Fox. How is your day?
I think that with my head keeping watch, my body would have been getting all the effects into order since I don't sleep. So
Okay.
as the sun is rising, you probably see Trey putting on his leather vest and his very ratty, torn up, like sun bleached leather, like riding cloak. On his left hip, you see a cylinderless revolver as he's putting on his belt buckle. And then on the right side, you see a whip that he's got equipped on the side with a small pouch in the center of it that you can probably see a deck of cards within. So the night was probably just spent disassembling, cleaning, and reassembling the gun.
Gotcha.
A gun that does not work because there is no cylinder.
Uh,
As with it, Asta, how are you waking up?
I wake up at the crack of dawn. I get dressed. Well, I didn't really get undressed, but I fix my hair, I clean my face and teeth, and once I'm done, uh, I also check my reflection
With it, it is exactly what you saw last.
as normal.
As that, what you all like to do? You do hear the sound of a carriage being readied in the morning.
Uh, well, I guess with the start of the day, I would head down to the royal hall to assure that there would be a sufficient breakfast before having to head out. While we do have rations, obviously, I would want to start us off on a good meal rather than rations.
Yeah. With it, you manage to make your way to the dining hall. The chef preparing food as normal. As he looks at you and goes, "Oh, uh, Prince, I heard that we had guests. Do you know what their palates might be?"
Given one seems to be a barbarian, the other's a cat, and the primary one's going to be a Dolahan, I'd recommend a meat focused breakfast, a lot of proteins, and more than likely a fair share of ale, weirdly enough, for the start of the day.
Understandable. I'll make sure that that is prepped. What would everyone like to go to the dining hall, by the way? Or who would like to go to the carriage versus the dining hall?
I've been scoping out the carriage.
So the carriage itself, it seems to be mainly just one of provisions. You notice that the provisions the king promised are on board, but also a few other things, such as holy water and a few other supernatural type deterrents, just to be on the safe side. This carriage is drawn by two horses. But it does not have a designated driver. Black Fox, where would you like to?
I think I'd probably went to the dining room.
Okay. What about you, Asta?
I went to the dining room to properly dine and thank my hosts.
You three arrive at the dining hall. Well, you two arrive at the dining hall a bit after Kron has been there. As you notice that there is a good portion of meat as the palate, as well as uh, a few ales available if you wish to partake.
Hmm. Some pretty nice spread. Guess we could indulge a little bit. Not that I normally actually partake in anything, but when in Rome. So I'm gonna start eating a little bit here and there and drinking.
Okay. Tastes pretty good. Give me a con save, beat a DC of 5 to see if you get drunk.
I'm so ready.
Alright, you don't get drunk off of this ale. You managed to handle your alcohol pretty consistently.
I'm instead just imagining of him instead of like actually consuming the alcohol with that roll, he's just pouring it into his mouth, and you see it like fall out of his little neck hole.
I'd like to imagine he's just pouring it straight into the neck hole.
Now
That's
that's
even
just
Oh,
reserved
God.
for parties. That's my party trick right
Oh,
there.
no.
No, my head is attached at present.
Okay. As Looney, the smell of cooked meats and stuff kind of catches your nose, coming from the dining hall if you wish to eat anything.
I have my nose in a small notebook, writing things down and jotting them down, kind of mumbling to myself
Okay.
as I just kind of blindly am walking through into the dining hall.
Okay. We'll see Cypher kind of popping in with that happening. Do you wish to eat anything, Cypher?
I grab a bit of the meat. Um, if there's any vegetables or anything, just kind of try and make a balanced
There is
ish.
not. It is a
No, there's not.
completely meat palette, as requested by.
Oh gosh.
Hopefully, hearty meal. The start of the day. Heavy.
And I grab like one thing of meat and is there any water or anything?
There's water upon request. But mainly just ale has been set out for the time being.
I quietly request a water
Okay.
and sit at the like quietest area of the table, probably a little bit away from everyone else, but not out of earshot,
Yeah.
just still writing down.
Okay. After a bit, a waiter does come and give you the water. And when you all are ready, you will head to the carriage and you out, but I will let you all converse.
I will say it does look like the soul has left my character's body for a moment, because this is like severe culture shock to him.
I guess seeing the obviously the kind of deer in headlights look, I ask like, is everything all right? Like, is everything to your liking?
What's the occasion?
Uh, we're about to set out to defend the kingdom. It's going to be making sure that the people who are going to be doing the most dangerous work, us, you know we have to have the best around.
Is this a very frequently celebrated event?
It's it is if this is the kind of work that you end up doing.
I awkwardly like take a seat, trying to guess like where the proper seating placement is. And then I like load up my plate. A little bit of boar meat, a little bit of venison.
Okay.
Very tempted to give into my vices when I see the ale, but I abstain and go with water.
As water has been handed out and stuff, food is very, very good. Like, this chef very much knows what he's doing.
Uh,
Anything else you would like to do?
nope. I've ate and I've got my equipment prepared and ready to set off.
Anyone else?
I'm going to go to the what do you call it, workshop, and see if there's any tools I might be able to borrow.
With it, for the most part, tool wise, everything that you have, they have. It's just they have extra. Like, they have multiple uses just in case one of them breaks and stuff. All
Okay.
that.
Then I guess I kick some dirt and slink on over into the carriage at the. I take the driver's seat.
Okay. As you all make your way to the carriage, you notice that Cypher has taken the driver's seat. Is there any objections?
Nope.
I am going to. Do we have any rope that was provided to us?
There's not any rope provided. There might be some if you took the explore.
Check.
Also, in the driver's seat, there is a map kind of giving you a general idea of where the nest might possibly be for you to kind of lead it.
Okay. Yeah, I do have some rope, so I'm gonna take some rope. I am going to tie it around my head, and I'm going to drape my head around the back of the carriage so I can get an eye, a rear end, and
Okay.
then my body will step into the carriage.
Okay.
He's watching his butt.
Always got to watch your own ass.
Say with an ass like that.
As begin the trek into as it's been a good day's travel, you've made it about 3 hours so far. Good 3 miles in. And with it, you notice that the sounds of the forest itself are getting quieter and quieter as you get closer and as normal sounds of the forest simply fade. Really here is the wind itself.
I think following behind us.
Give me a perception roll.
Nat 20.
You don't really see it, but you know something is following. Occasionally, you'll see a hand from a hand move behind a tree. A mix match of a few things. Sometimes you'll see something rapidly dart from one side of the road to the other.
Gotcha. All right.
The air itself definitely feels wrong here.
Okay. My head will then shout out, "Hey, Mr. Cat, find us a nice clearing, cause we got some company." And then on the inside of the carriage, my body will just be trying to get people's attention by like poking, waving, and like trying to get them to like pay attention to me and pointing out the window.
You guys are seeing this from the Dullahan.
I throw down a small device. Looks like a gramophone, but it's very tiny.
Okay.
And as it plunks down onto the floor, they hear a small pop. And my voice comes through a very tinny, very poorly made speaker.
You're stopping at the head. There's something. And I want to get away from it as quickly as I can, so we're gonna stop up ahead. Get ready.
Gamers are free to move your tokens. I just don't advise you moving them out of eyesight range, as there might be something lurking in the dark. But with it, going to assume Looney's character is the carriage. If you move away from Looney, that will actually move Looney right here. There. But if you guys move away from Looney's point, it's as if you're getting out. You are free to explore the area.
I guess I will be just minorly ahead of the carriage on foot.
Okay. As
Probably walk to the side, reclaim my head.
as
I'll take the rear so that no one is squishy.
Santa, give me a perception roll.
Perception.
Forest is a forest. Anyway,
It's definitely a forest.
Trees are made of wood.
I think they might be made
I'm
of
gonna look
cobblestone.
around from the. I'm gonna look around from the driver's seat.
Okay. Give me a perception roll. I will say it's about 8 o'clock. The sun is beginning to.
Um,
Trees are made of trees.
Yep, they are.
Pete's sake. I see them
Pretty
looking
great.
around. Having known that I've already seen these things, I am going to take my head and throw it in the air and try to get a bird's eye view of the landscape.
Give me a perception check at disadvantage.
Oh boy, that's even better.
So, so when you throw it up in the air, you see many a trees, but just barely. Out of eyesight, you see something blinking around. As you see something, I will move you really quick.
Okay.
Something all the way over here,
Okay.
seemingly lurking behind a tree.
What's the range?
Range itself?
Yeah, how far away is that?
Since you're still in the carriage, it would be about 70 feet.
So is each tile 5 feet?
Yeah, each tile is 5 feet.
Okay.
There's like a little ruler tool on the left-hand side that you can use. That's why.
Okay. I am going to, with my left hand, draw the cylinderless revolver, point it in that direction, and let loose an Eldritch Blast.
Right, roll at disadvantage.
Oh boy. So 15 plus 5, so 20 to hit.
That hits, roll damage.
First, I gotta roll a d12. It is a 6.
6.
Alright. So I deal. Oh, that's not my damage. Oh, fuck it. This is already bad. Okay. And damage is gonna be also 6. So I deal 6 fire damage.
6 fire. As almost immediately you see the thing rapidly run off, almost at like 80 feet as it scurries away.
Fuck's sake, don't think you could give somebody a warning next time?
Well, I could give you a warning or I could scare it off. One of the two.
Definitely best to keep this path as clear as possible. Let's see. All right. So then I guess I'll take a few more steps ahead here.
Can I get a second token
What for?
for my head?
Yes. Did you throw your head over there?
No, my head is in the air, but I'm gonna move my body somewhere else.
Oh, is it just floating in the air?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I thought you just threw it and it came back down. Oh, I'm
No,
doing.
I am my head. My head is floating.
Okay. With it, how far did it go then?
I would have thrown it probably close to where
How far are
Roan
you
was
able?
initially.
Okay.
The head can only move 5 feet. My body can move 30.
Okay, so I will move that there, and then your body will be right back here, but I will move the head right here.
All right, I'm gonna move my body forward a little bit.
Yeah, now the cart.
Yep.
All right. Cypher, you're the only one manning the cart right now. I will say the horses do seem on edge.
I kind of
Lean forward a little bit, kind of pat them.
Okay. They calm down a little bit. You do you do see what looks like a structure of sorts up ahead. As you get a bit closer, you notice seems to be the abandoned campsite that the scouts were using. And no one can see it.
Hmm.
Oh wait, you guys can see it. I could not see. All right. What would you feel free to move yourselves anywhere you want. Looney, you're still kind of in charge of the carriage. Yeah.
I would like to do a survival check to check for any like footprints or maybe checking like around the camp to see like how long it's been since it's been disturbed.
Okay, give me a nature or survival roll, whichever one's higher.
They're both -1.
Okay. You do manage to find some tracks. Seem to be going in a direction. Just a moment, I'll drop for you. So you're noticing tracks that kind of lead from the main tent right here. And they go all the way up here.
Okay.
Do we know what kind of tracks they are?
So with it, they look like they could be wolf tracks.
Could I roll a survival to determine the type of tracks?
Yes, you may.
Oh, wait. There we go. I saw Crone's like 12, and I was like, I also got 12.
With it, so these are definitely meant to be wolf tracks. However, they seem to be almost mutated. You also notice that each one of the tents seemingly has either a few slashes here and there. The main tent, however, definitely had a bit of blood. Not too terribly much. I will say it is around 9 p.m. now. The light is beginning to dim quite rapidly.
Is there anything like scattered papers or anything written around, weird runes carved into anything?
Give me an investigation roll. With it, you do find what looks to be a map log, kind of a cartographer's thing, being like, oh, this is the generalized area of where they've been seeing animals go missing, where they've been hearing dead blue. Which, if you don't know the term dead blue, it's the worst thing you can hear in the forest because that's when nothing makes a sound. It's an indicator that there's a very violent predator. Most of the time, gunshots are followed by dead blue for a period of time. But you still have only been hearing the dead blue. Not really been much sound that came back. But apparently that whatever they were tracking was the source of this dead blue.
Was there anything magical in the area, or was it just the cartography?
There was nothing magical in the area. You just found the paper with the cartographer. You did find like a few things of like food being cooked, but almost abandoned rapidly. Um yeah, that is all you find.
All right. Um, I guess I. 1 second. No. Why? Da, da. I ask Black Fox, what was your character's name? Trey?
Right.
Trey, do you think you can do your head trick to see if you can spot any enemies before we start to set up camp?
Getting a bit dark. I could do a little bit of scouting, but the head's only got a short range, 500 feet away, but I'll only be able to see about 60 feet down, so my scouting range is a little limited, but I can do that. Which way do you want me to go first? Do you want me to follow the freaky wolves, or do you want me to eye around our present position so that we can be safe?
Also,
Yes.
I will put your head right about like fire. There you go.
Okay.
I say go ahead and do a small perimeter, but definitely try to focus more towards the north, as that's where these footprints seem to have trailed off to.
You got it, Your Highness.
And I guess while he's doing that, I'm going to start trying to move like the boxes and the cart and everything else and kind of make like a makeshift perimeter around the campfire.
Okay. With it, you managed to make a decent perimeter. Are you using the horses and stuff as well?
Um, I mean, obviously the horses would be there, but I see that there's like like broken down
Yeah.
boxes, tents, carts. So I'm primarily using that for our defense because I wouldn't want to have our carriage and horses at risk,
Okay.
or as little at risk as possible, I should say.
Okay. Right. Give me a see what the roll would be. You know, you got a good amount of time. You got about an hour before darkness fully envelops. As you do that time, Asa, what would you like to be doing? Spare the dying. Dying has been spared. Also, Black Fox, I'll let you know you won't find anything from exploring like that.
I just realized I was muted. Uh, so we're setting up camp for the night, right?
Correct.
Okay. Uh, I'll probably patrol around to make sure there isn't anything nearby that's going to attack us.
Black Fox, are you doing okay, by the way?
Oh yeah, I'm moving my head about every 6 seconds, 5 feet.
You're allowed to move him wherever you want him to be at the end.
Oh, I know.
Fair. All right, so you'll be patrolling for the hour. Give me a perception roll.
Du-du-du-du. Ooh,
Ooh. So notice that there's something very, very strange about this uh dark blue. Something s- smelly, I guess is the word for it. Something smells rotten coming from the north, but the smell is just getting more and more potent
It's
as
a smelly smell.
it's getting more and more potent as you are trying to figure it out. And it's about 10 minutes, but by this time it smells like right on top of you all. You all have the campfire lit. And general area seems alright.
Can I tech magic?
Yes, you may. Click. Thing what the limit are. Detect
60
magic.
feet
60 feet. Is it from your head or your body?
from my head.
You do not detect any magic.
Okay.
As night has fully ascended upon.
I guess now with the fortifications made, we'll light up the campfire, and also I see there's a couple of smaller campfires nearby. I guess we can try to light those up as well for an increase in vision.
Okay. I assumed you were lighting all the stuff you could. All right. This really quick. I just
Be upon you.
How are you guys? Are you guys sleeping at all or no?
I'm not, but I don't have to.
I actually don't recall how much rest my race needs.
Or an elf, correct?
ASMR.
ASMR.
Hazer.
Oh shoot.
I believe they require a full amount.
Yeah, I don't think they have it. I'm gonna check really quick for you. Yes, they do not have anything that lets them. So you will need a full night's rest. Choose to take it.
Um, well, I haven't uh exactly done anything involving my spell slot, so I'm not really needing the rest outside of, obviously needing some sleep. So I guess I'll go for the short rest.
Okay.
I'm taking a cat nap.
Mm,
I take a sleep.
okay.
I'm
That
gonna keep my head to the north to keep watch while I just sit there and meditate for the 4 hours, but always watching.
double check some. Just a moment to get prepped. I will say both your head and body must meditate for 6 hours.
But I'm also still aware of what I'm doing.
Yes, you are. It's just a
So,
nerve. So
yeah,
one,
I'm just keeping my head floating there, but it's just looking out. But I'm just
the only reason I say that is just you have to basically remain still.
yeah, yeah. That's why the head's not floating anymore.
All right.
It's just
Oh, by the way, Santa,
What's up?
do you see those 3 books on the very top of the right-hand chat thing? If you click
Yes.
that and then type in a spell, you can drag and drop it into your character.
Neat.
So who all is sleeping? Santa is.
everyone but me,
Ogami is.
basically.
Okay.
I'm the only one that has the meditation thing.
About 2 hours
Whoops.
in, give me a perception roll, Black Fox. So as you are kind of head there chilling, you do notice that around the entire perimeter of the place there is rustling of leaves. There's some rustling of leaves over here. Some somewhere behind these tents. Some somewhere behind these.
Okay. Hmm. Let's see what I got. Okay. I am going to use some thaumaturgy to make the bonfire a little bit brighter to see if maybe I can get a little bit of sight.
With it, bonfire's not affected.
Shit. I'm going to break the meditation. My body is going to stand up and it is going to go and shake Crone and Kogami. My head's going to slowly make its way back.
Okay.
I snap awake and I'm like upright immediately.
You just see my head pointing in the directions where I heard some noises.
As soon as you point, you notice that the campfire on the bottom immediately starts burning out until it finally fades.
I like to imagine your head is like rotating rapidly like a siren.
Oh yeah. Just like 10 feet above the ground, just rotating as I'm just looking everywhere.
Yeah.
Actually, it'll probably go here. Poor Cypher's about to be woken up by just a head
Cypher, you are awoken by a head.
as I bite you.
You are bitten.
Fuck off. Wait.
We've got company.
Pinky.
Yeah, I see that. It's you.
Let's see here. Should we do.
And I slowly make my way over to around them, but I'm not gonna get too close because I don't know what's really going on.
Yeah.
I'd like to shout out into the darkness that if they've come to die, then that's exactly what they'll find. It's best for them to run while they have the chance. Try to do an intimidate.
All right, give me an intimidation roll. The rustling stops. And the darkness that was creeping ever closer to you all stops as well. As there is now just dead blue again.
Well, crisis averted. I'll be back in the carriage if you need me.
They're still here. Just because they didn't come closer doesn't mean they're still here. Be on alert.
I guess with my dark vision, can I try to see into the dark to see if I can
You
find
can't see
where they
into
are?
this dark.
Oh, is it like true dark?
And my magic ain't seeming to work at present.
It does. But unfortunately, regular light doesn't really affect magical. You guys like to do?
You said it's pure silence, right? There's no more rustling coming?
There's no more rustling. There's no noise whatsoever.
Um. Okay. I, in a hushed tone, ask the others, so how well are you guys in for a fight?
I'm
I
good for a
trust my
scrap.
own abilities.
And you, Cat, are you prepared for a fight?
Do I look like I fight?
Yes.
Your attitude sure does.
You done nothing
I,
but fight internally, so how about fighting externally? Are you ready?
He ain't got much of a choice if the three of us make a move.
I'm going to see if I can bait them, but I wanted to make sure everyone was prepared.
He'll be fine.
pull
Um,
out.
The item that was in my bag.
Okay.
It's this shoddily made but functional what would you call it? Kind of like a smaller Gatling gun.
Okay. Is
And
it from a
then
spell, by the way, or
no, it's just my weapon.
okay?
Just aesthetics.
You guys are prepping for fighting. Santa, you hear right next to you, just right in your ear. Find us. As immediately it is morning. As everyone, for the most part, wakes up pretty a-okay.
Did any of you guys hear that whispering?
No. Should we be concerned about you?
It's just the dark trying to mock us, telling me to go find them. I'm
Well, it's
going to
kind
go
of our
for
job anyway.
I'm gonna go for a deception check and be like, well, it's a good thing that they decided to fuck off because honestly, what would have a group of us done to a bunch of creatures of the night? Truly.
Okay, give me a deception roll. Okay. I mean, for now, you actually are hearing insects chirping about and such. The dead blue is gone.
So now what?
I guess with it being like this, uh, hey Trey, while nature seems to be relatively normal for nature, why don't you try and give it another scout out while there's not much magic blocking your sight?
Sounds like a good idea. I'm gonna send my head up north to where we saw the tracks originally heading in, see what I can see.
So, where the tracks originally were, you now see that there is a corpse of one of the scouts that was in the infirmary.
Fuck.
As it's just laid about, ribs exposed in a very gruesome manner.
Does the body look like it was dragged there, or does it look like it came from the town on foot?
Looks like the body was killed right
So no tracks around it. Looks like it just appeared there.
there. Yes.
Double fuck.
So, body's hand. There is a letter.
What do you see up there?
I'm gonna go back, grab my head, come back with the letter, and bring it to him.
There is a bloodied letter in the scout's hand, but it is stamped with royal seal. Still unopened, although there is a bit of blood seeping in from the corpse.
Looks
I
like a
guess.
message for you.
I open it carefully to prevent any kind of smudging from the blood.
Give me a sleight of hand roll.
Ooh.
Can I help him with that?
How would
Use
you
the
be
help action.
How would you be helping you?
Just pull out like a knife and like pull up the wax seal ever so slightly.
I mean, if you
Just-
wish to roll the sleight.
Okay. I'm proficient in it, so give that a shot.
So, with it, the letter opens. A bit of blood does get onto it, unfortunately, but for the most part, you can still make out what it says. As it's a letter written from the king, as only has a few words on it, as it says, "Don't come back."
Ripple fuck.
Wait, so it was a letter seemingly from the king that says "Don't come back."
Yep.
Are any of you proficient in checking things for magical alterations?
I can see if magic is on an object. I don't know about any residual magic, though.
I'd like to see if this was tampered with, as this definitely does not seem like something the king would be sending.
I'm gonna cast Detect Magic again.
Illusion magic. All around you.
Ah. Well, quadruple fuck. We are still in the dead of night. I'm assuming we are surrounded by nothing but an illusion.
Uh,
The letter, the air around us, seems like we're just kind of in the middle of it.
I'd trying to think about how I want to go about this one, because I'm kind of doing my best to try and bait the darkness here. I'd like to do a performance check and be like, well, you heard him. We're not meant to come back. I guess we're just meant to be wandering around these woods, just waiting for something to come out and do something. I guess we've been ployed this whole time. Apparently my father must have just been some kind of cruel bastard. He just sent his son and a bunch of random do-gooders out to go die. Man, ain't that some shit?
Speak for yourself.
Give me
You
a
knew all
performance.
along that your father was a piece of shit. Now, how about we all get back into this carriage and head back to town, tell your dad off, and I can go back to doing what I'm doing, and you guys can go back to doing whatever it is you guys. Cool. Cool.
I'm going to use command on Cypher and say silence.
All right, Cipher.
I
Yeah.
start.
Make a. Is it a wisdom save for hand?
Yes.
Make me a wisdom save. You cannot speak anymore.
I'm still walking towards the carriage, and I'm in the driver's seat already.
The horses are currently set up in the little safety area over here, though. Santa brought them there during the night.
I hop down and grab the horses, and I look at what's his name, Crone, and just kind of give him an eye of like, play along. I'm thinking.
Uh, I'm going to pick up the hint and I'm going to continue playing along with it again with a performance check. Being like, well, I guess if you're just too scared, just a big old scaredy cat to be able to handle handing out into the darkness
Don't roll
to die
performance.
for the name of the king, I guess we'll just have to go in for it and just head on back. Tail between our legs.
Don't roll performance. That was the performance.
And I guess with that, I'll also start approaching the carriage.
Okay.
I follow.
As you all make your way onto the carriage, simply hear the words, "How fun," as darkness envelops you all. As Ezra will end for the night. And for everyone watching, either on
Yes.
YouTube or stream, I hope you all had a good one. And we will look for someone to raid really quick. See who is live right now. Santa, are you live perchance?
No, I just clocked out of work.
Santa might not be live right now, but Santa does go live quite often with some epic gaming, so make sure to go check out Santa Satsune. As well as we will raid into some more Dungeons and Dragons. See if there's any other VTubers and stuff going at it right now. That would always be interesting.
Yeah.
Alright, we will go raid into Slay the Dragon. I thought you said Lay the Dragon. Thank you again, gamers, so much for coming out. For those interests, I do got a Discord right there. With it, I do post a lot of updates and stuff. In fact, as soon as this video goes live on YouTube, I will be posting in the Discord. But make sure to give them a good old snake infection raid. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.